remember the other day that there were more books coming out. It really has been surprising how many womenfolk like me have written books in the last 30 or 40 years. I still remember the day that Margaret Fuller's book, Women of the 19th Century, came out. So many of us read it, even those who couldn't read had heard of it. It really gave us hope. Even I thought about writing. Not everyone was happy about it, though. Some of the women's books had become so popular that the women writers made more money than the men. Nathaniel Hawthorne had written some books too, but they never became as popular as the books by women. He was so upset by the women writers that he made the remark, "America is now wholly given over to a mob of scribbling women." There were many other writers before the women, though. There was Washington Irving, who wrote the amazing story The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. That was my favorite book for the longest time. But a close competitor with that was Herman Melville. In 1851, he wrote a book called Moby Dick. Of course, I didn't read that when it came out. Nobody did. I read it nearly 5 years later. Nobody agreed with me, but I thought it was a wonderful story. Many of these authors were trying to come up with an American style of writing. Everyone before this time had used the European style for everything. As far as other literature goes, there have been quite a few good poets recently too. For example, there was Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. There was also John Greenleaf Whittier, who became known for his works that helped the anti-slavery cause. Others included Walt Whitman and Emily Dickinson. I heard from someone that Emily wrote lots of poems, but only published a few. Personally, I've only seen 6 or 7 of them. I don't know if there's any more. There was also a man by the name of Ralph Waldo Emerson who influenced many. His writings were about people having an inner light. The majority of people were inspired by him. I can't say the same about his friend, though. Henry David Thoreau wrote a lot of things, some of which I support, but others I do not. He wrote that cities and industries are ruining the nation, and that a person's wealth is measured by the amount of things that he or she can do without. He also fought slavery like Emerson and Whittier. His writings are highly debated over. I saw a painting the other day by Asher Dern called Kindred Spirits. That reminded me how popular the Hudson River School style of art has become. An especially memorable painter was Robert S. Duncanson. He was the first African American to earn a living as an artist. Some other artists around that day were Gilbert Stuart, John Copley, and Thomas Cole, who used the Hudson River School style. Others changed style even further, like George Bingham, Alfred Jacob Miller, and George Catlin. I think the United States is finally getting its own style out there, not just following Europe's example anymore. Americans may yet become popular throughout not just Europe, but in all the world. Maybe the world will soon owe some part of its culture to us here in the United States. Before this change, Sidney Smith made fun of us for not having culture to his standards. He said, "In the 4 quarters of the globe, who reads an American book, or goes to an American play, or looks at an American picture or statue? What does the world yet owe to Americans?" Maybe now he will see we are not cultureless. We will change the world.